All right, everyone, welcome back. We're going to continue with Siddhartha. So, last time with Siddhartha, we introduced, the first time we introduced the caste system and how that worked. Make sure to look back at that if you didn't see that. And then the second time we read through this a bit about Siddhartha, how he was a Brahmin, which is a priestly caste, um, and how he was also very spiritual. And at the end, we ended with this um, right here, where I'm sorry, Siddhartha has a friend named Govinda. He grows up with his father, who is a priest. He's learning to be a priest. He's very intelligent, and these last two sentences say, already he knew how to pronounce the Om silently. The Om is Om, the basis of all life. This word of words, to say it inwardly with the intake of the breath, when breathing out with all his soul, Om, his brow radiating with the glow of pure spirit. Already he knew how to recognize Atman. So we're seeing the use of already at the beginning of this, already. At the moment, he knew beforehand how to do this. So it shows that he has grown up. He knew this already. We're not going to watch him learn it. He had already learned this. So we're seeing him when he's just coming of age. He's almost an adult here. Already he knew how to recognize Atman with the depth of his beings. Atman, we're going to explain that a little bit today, and then I'm going to have a whole section where I talk about Atman, Satya, Brahman, and also there's one more, the Upanishads. I'm going to have a section on that, but today we're just going to read through this. Atman basically means the self and the indestructible self. What would indestructible mean? Non-destructible. It can't be destroyed. If we build a tank and nothing can destroy it, we would say it's indestructible. But nothing's really indestructible. Even the sun is going to explode. But Atman is indestructible. It cannot be destroyed. And it's in the depth of his being. This is an indication of what Atman is. Atman is in the depths of his being. It can't be destroyed. And it's at one with the universe. And we'll talk about what that means in the next video. Okay, let's continue. There was happiness in his father's heart because of his son, who was intelligent and thirsty for knowledge. He saw him growing up to be a learned man, a priest, a prince among Brahmins. So we're starting to get the style of how, at least the translator of Hesse, how he's writing. So there was happiness in his father's heart. His means Siddhartha. And then from the father's perspective, there's happiness in Siddhartha's father's heart because of his son. That looks back at Siddhartha. This means his as in the father. So there's happiness in Siddhartha's father's heart because his son, Siddhartha, was intelligent and thirsty for knowledge. He'd actually thirst for knowledge like you thirst for water. He, meaning the father, saw Siddhartha growing up to be a learned man, a priest, a prince among Brahmins. Learned meaning, educated, but formally we can say learned. A priest, a prince among Brahmins. This is, so he's the greatest of Brahmins, or one of the greatest. There was pride in his mother's breast when she saw him walking, sitting down and rising. Siddhartha, strong, handsome, supple-limbed, greeting her with complete grace. Okay, now we saw Siddhartha from his father's point of view. Now we're seeing Siddhartha from his mother's point of view. There's pride in her breast. We think of pride as making the chest swell. His chest swelled with pride because the heart is in here and pride dwells in there as well, and it swells the chest. She swelled with pride when she saw him walking, sitting down, and rising. So at all moments, she was amazed by everything he did. She loved him that much. She thought Siddhartha was strong, handsome, supple limbed. This kind of means, well built. Greeting her with a complete grace, with complete grace. So he knew all the ways to greet her in a formal way that showed complete respect. Okay, next, love stirred in the hearts of the young Brahmin's daughters when Siddhartha walked through the streets of town with his lofty brow, his king-like eyes, and his slim figure. So now notice that this says Brahmins with the apostrophe after the S. That's because Brahmins is plural, and when you show ownership by plural, and there's an S at the end already, you will put the apostrophe afterwards. So if it was one Brahmin, it would be apostrophe S like this, the young Brahmin's daughters. But here we're doing S apostrophe. So all the Brahmins around, the young Brahmin, all the Brahmins around, they had young daughters. And when Siddhartha walked through the streets of town, they'd see him with his lofty brow. So there's this vision of beauty that's in the eyes of how Hesse sees Indians thinking. I don't know if it's true, but his brow is even regal. His eyes are regal. His figure is slim. And the women are attracted to him. All of these things point to that in the society, or in a lot of classical societies or ancient societies, people think that kingship or high breeding, meaning you come from, a kingly line or a priestly line, that it shows on your body, that you actually look better. You can tell a king by his eyes or something. We get this idea here that he's this great person and that people can actually see it. And there is something to that, right? When there are rich people, they can give their children the best food, the best of everything, and make sure that they have time to exercise. So a lot of times when you're wealthy, you can look better than other people. So there's something to that. Govinda, his friend. Now we're going to see from Govinda's point of view. Govinda, his friend, the Brahmin's son, so he's a Brahmin, Govinda loved him more than anybody else. He loved Siddhartha's eyes and clear voice. He loved the way he walked, his complete grace of movement. Here we see grace again. So he walks in a very graceful way, like a dancer. Never awkward. He loved everything that Siddhartha did and said. Above all, he loved his intellect, his fine, ardent thoughts, these high thoughts, his strong will. He's very powerful and a leader. He's a leader, and his high vocation. So being a Brahmin, he's a priest, and somehow Govinda looks up to his high vocation. Govinda knew that he would not become an ordinary Brahmin. So meaning Siddhartha, would not become an ordinary Brahmin, a lazy, sacrificial official, an avaricious dealer in magic sayings, a conceited, worthless orator, a wicked, sly priest, or just a good, stupid sheep amongst a large herd. So remember, Brahmins are priests. They have access to the Vedas, which are the holy books. They know the language, other people don't. So they can often take advantage of people. They can just do the priestly things that everybody needs and take money from people. They can be lazy. They can be wicked. They can trick people. They can be conceited. Conceited means you think you're above people and you just look down on them. A conceited and worthless orator. Here, conceited and worthless orator. Orator is a person that gives speeches, and the Brahmins would maybe either tell the Vedas like Om Savanavavatu Sahanao Bhunaktu. They might do this, or they might actually give a message to everyone. An avaricious dealer in magical sayings. Avaricious, we'd have to look it up, but it kind of means taking advantage of people again, or cheating people. Again, showing like telling people that they can do magic to take money from them or get power, or just lazy. So Brahmins could be like this. And Govinda knew that Siddhartha wouldn't be a normal Brahmin like that. No, no, Siddhartha, no, oh, I'm sorry. No, and he, Govinda, see how this modifies the he? He, who is he? Govinda. No, and he, Govinda, did not want to become any of these. Not a Brahmin like 10,000 others of their kind. Govinda also didn't want to become that way. And you can do this by saying no, and he, Govinda, did not want to become any of these. You could even put either. Did not want to become any of these either. Not a Brahmin like 10,000 others of their kind. He wanted to be different. Govinda wanted to follow Siddhartha, the beloved, the magnificent. And if he ever became a god, meaning if Siddhartha ever became a god, if Siddhartha ever entered the all-radiant, we'll talk about what this means later, but kind of becomes glorified as a god, then Govinda wanted to follow him as his friend, his companion, his servant, his lance bearer, his shadow. Do you notice how in English we can get him mixed up, he, she? It gets a little confusing. So let's follow again who we're talking about. And if he, Siddhartha, ever became a god, if he, Siddhartha, ever entered the all-radiant, then Govinda wanted to follow him, Siddhartha, as Siddhartha's friend, Siddhartha's companion, the person that walks with him, his servant, serving Siddhartha, his lance bearer. This is kind of an idea of going along with someone royal. You're holding a lance, meaning like a protective instrument, like a sword or something beside this kingly person. He wanted to be his shadow. What does a shadow do? A shadow follows someone everywhere. Okay? So now it sums all of it up. That was how everybody loved Siddhartha. He delighted and made everybody happy. So Siddhartha makes his father happy, his mother, the daughters, the young women, Govinda. And we notice here Govinda really loves Siddhartha. Do you think he loves him romantically? You would have to answer this. I tend to think no. I think they are describing brotherly or real true friendship. And in Indian society, again, this is a little bit difficult because this is a German that is writing this, not an Indian. But it seems like he has read about Indian society, though who knows what his ideas are. But in Indian society, the idea of being a friend to a great person is really important. In fact, this story mirrors a lot of other stories, especially the Ramayana, where the great Ram goes out and his brother Lakshman follows him and serves him. There's many stories like this. But here's the bad part. Everybody sees Siddhartha and loves him. Do you know anyone like this? Maybe the person who's the head of the soccer team or the best person at school that everybody looks up to, right? Everybody's happy even looking at him. But was Siddhartha happy? But Siddhartha himself was not happy. Okay? Siddhartha himself was not happy. Everybody was happy with him. He's not happy. Okay, we're going to stop there because this is the video is becoming very long. If you are interested in learning Sanskrit, we're going to learn a lot of Sanskrit words. You could check out my book, Devanagari Primer for Non-Hindi Speakers. I teach you how to write in Devanagari script, which is Hindi script. This is how Sanskrit is usually written. You can get this as an ebook on Amazon. Otherwise, we're going to start next time with why Siddhartha wasn't happy. So I hope you enjoyed this. Make sure to hit the like button and subscribe. and follow along. We'll keep going through this. We'll probably start speeding up as we go along, but I want to make sure to touch on English with this as well. If you're if something is not making sense, put it in the comments and let's talk about the English that you're reading. And congratulate yourself. You are reading a book in English, a fiction book, and you're getting it. So good job. All right, I'll see you next time.